Hi everyone and welcome to Module 2G of my full Python course. If you've not enrolled, please subscribe. Let's get into it. So today we're going to summarize, and it's still new information, so please don't think you should discard this lecture. It's very important. Summarize/describe all the different data types together, because as a programmer, we really need to think about, okay, we have all of these tools under our belt, except what do we want to use? What am I able to do with each of these? And it's hard to know what to do unless you kind of talk about them all together. But we also have to have the conversation separately of what each of them are. So right now, I'm going to show basically from all of the data types that I think are important. There's some other ones, but not really a big deal. I is equal to, say, 7. First, I'm going to talk about whether something is mutable or immutable, meaning can I actually physically change the data type, not just the type, but the actual data item there. So the value of 7. Not can I change I, that doesn't matter. I can always change a variable name to be something else, and that will totally be fine. And it's not changing the value of 7. Okay, so I is 7, we have 7 in memory, and then we point I to be 12. Well, that's not changing 7. Okay, so integers are immutable, and floating point values, very similar. So decimal values, f is equal to 5.2. Well, that is a immutable thing. There's nothing we can do to change 5.2 in memory. So immutable, and we have, say, strings. Okay, so s is equal to the string of hi. Now there is something that kind of makes sense, which we might be able to do to change strings. To check if it's mutable, I should be able to do this, and it would work fine, except it's not. Sorry, actually, I'll make it a string just to show that it's explicitly clear. If I try to set the first element of this thing to be 5, so that was trying to make it 5i, this doesn't work. So strings are immutable. Object does not support item assignment. So they are immutable. What else is immutable is a tuple. So if we tried t is equal to round 1, 2, 3, and then we tried t sub 0 is equal to something, say t sub 0 is equal to 5, then that does not support item assignment, so it is immutable. Now, the other ones, which I'm going to separate by a space, so these are the immutable ones, and the mutable ones are a list. So list is equal to the list of 1, 2, and then 3, and if I wanted to do list sub 0 is equal to 5, then that is totally fine. Okay, we're allowed to do that. I will get rid of that and just run it again. So that's our proper list with sets. Okay, so sets s is equal to, and I guess I'll make this st because strings and sets both start with the same thing. So st, actually that still looks like a string. Let me call it set with 2 letters, 2 t's. Set is equal to the set of 1, 2, and 3. Now, what I can't do is say set sub 0 is equal to something. And it's saying object does not support item assignment, except actually it doesn't support item assignment in the sense that I can't ask what is the 0th thing and change it. This doesn't even work at all. Set sub 0, object is not subscriptable. It doesn't have an order. And that's what we're going to do in our second list down here. All right, sorry, I'm saying list twice. In our second section here of organizing things, that is going to be whether stuff has an order or not. So sets do not have an order. Therefore, I can't ask what the first thing is, nor can I try to change it. But they are immutable in the sense that I can do set.add, say 4. Okay, so if I had set, then that is the set now. Okay, so it is mutable because what it's doing is actually changing set. Set was this thing, and then we changed it. We could not change this value here, but that's what a set is. You could actually remove it with a function called, we can look for it, remove. Okay, so you can remove something, and so it says remove an element from a set. It must be a member. If it's not a member, then it messes up. So it must be in there. And so I can remove 4. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting it to be a set of 1, 2, 3, then I'm adding 4, then I'm removing a 4. Okay, so that is also totally fine. We can add and remove stuff, but we can't just say what is the first position because it doesn't have an order. For dictionaries, it is going to be very similar. For, say, a dictionary, D is equal to, we'll say the list, or the string of 1, the string of A, and then 1, string of B, and then 2, the string of C, and then 3. Well, D is that dictionary as we saw. And again, we can't ask a location-based thing. We can't say, what is the first thing? It's saying key error because it wants a key. So we can ask, what is D sub A? And as we saw before, it is mutable because we can set D sub A to be 5, for example. So then this dictionary, it changed the key from 1 to 5. So that's totally fine. That means it's mutable. And also, if I wanted to add something in here, I could add D to be, say, 4. Okay, so that's totally fine. I added a new key and set its value to be 4. Great. So these are the things that are mutable, and these are the things that are immutable. You cannot change this, you cannot change this, you cannot change anything in a string, you cannot change anything in a tuple or add or subtract things from it. But from a list, you can change and access the location of things. In a set, you can add and remove elements from this thing. You can't ask location because it doesn't make sense. And in a dictionary, you can do the same thing, but we do it with this key syntax. Now we're going to talk about order. So I'm going to categorize it into either type A or type B or possibly both for ordering because it's kind of complicated in Python and I don't want to mess you up with it. If something is A ordered, this is just my own definition, so don't look this up. If something is A ordered, then that means that I can ask the location of something. So that means that I can do list sub 0, and I know what that's going to be. So this is type A. I can do T sub 0, so for the tuple, that is totally fine as well. That is that one. And for the set, can I do that? No, okay, it's not subscriptable, so that doesn't make any sense. But for the string, so just S sub 0, then that's totally fine. Okay, so this is type A ordering, where I can ask the location, and it's not just going to be 0, that's just my easy example. You should be able to ask the order of any of these different things using the subscript notation. Now I'm going to call it type B ordered, and sorry, just to show you that the dictionary doesn't work like that. If I was to do T sub 0, then that does not work. And I actually showed that earlier, but just to show you again. So these are the type A ordering people. Now, type B is going to be for if you go in a for loop, if you iterate over the content, you can predict what that is, as in it is in some logical order. Not necessarily in order you would expect, but at least something you could memorize what is the pattern in Python. So let me just show with an example. For elem, in whatever the data is, so I'm going to show it for a list, print elem. Well, that is going to do 1, then 2, then 3. Okay, so list is going to be type B. Okay, so I'm going to put list here as well. So this is the type A stuff, and this is the type B stuff. So for elem in list, then print elem, it has the list in order, so that is going to be type A and B. So then for elem in set, well, that does 1, 2, 3. And actually, we haven't sufficiently shown yet what it's doing, because it could be either just ordering itself, as in if it's a bunch of numbers, it could sort them, or it could be saying I added 1, then I added 2, then I added 3, so I'm going to give you 1, then 2, then 3. If I change set to be this, then that will show you that what happens is it's sorting them for us. So actually, if you go through for elem in the set, what it's going to do is sort the elements and then give you that in order. So this is going to be considered type B, because at least when I go through the for loop, I can predict, at least I can tell you beforehand what it's going to output. So from this, I could say, actually, it is going to be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So I'm going to consider that type B, but it's not type A because I can't ask the order of this, or I can't type the location of this thing. For a dictionary, we are going to do for elem in D, print D. Well, again, that actually doesn't show it because ABC, it could either be sorting it for us, and so it gave ABC, or it could be, I gave it A, then I gave it B, then I gave it C, so that's the order. If I again change this middle piece here, if I set this to be D is equal to 4, then this will give you the answer. Sorry, I messed up somewhere. D is equal to 4, and sorry, I need that to be a colon. So D is 4, and then for elem in the dictionary, well, actually, dictionaries preserve the order with when you put them in. So I put A in, and then I put D in, and then B, then C. So it's going to do A, then D, then B, then C, and that's actually a newer Python idea. So that didn't used to be true, but now that is true. So the last one is for a tuple, and you could probably guess that for elem in T, print elem, it is going to do 1, 2, 3. And so I'm going to put, I forgot to put dictionaries in here, but dictionaries and tuples are here. And I'm keeping the zeros here to remind you that this is type A. So although this isn't going to be proper syntax, I'm going to say for elem in list, then this is totally fine, and we can predict what that is. It is going to be the order that it's given in. For elem in set, that is going to sort it for us. For elem in D, that is going to preserve the order of with which it actually got put in. And then for elem in T, that is going to be the order of it. It makes sense. And so these ones, you can ask the position. These ones, you can ask the order of this thing with a for loop. And here, these are the immutable objects. These are the mutable objects. And that is my summary. No one else will give that type of summary. I actually think it's really good. So if you liked it, I will see you in the next part, which is actually the final project since we just summarized the module. I will see you there.